So, Kal Kadosh, Boker Tov.
Boker Tov.
So we're going to start Daf Lametet Amud Aleph, 39A1. So we were just at the two dots because we finished speaking about, if you remember, putting an egg right beside a mecham, an urn, and we said it was going to become a chiyuv chatat because since the egg easily cooks, if you put it beside it, it's going to be a problem. The same halacha applied to anything which, if you already put something in hot water before Shabbat, so you could put hot water in Shabbat, no problem. But anything which is basically maliach hayashan, right, or kulyasa ispanin, right, which are things which is very easily cooked. So therefore, because the salted, so makes it very, very easily cooked. So therefore, if you're going to put it in hot water, it's considered you're cooking it on Shabbat. So right now we are on the two dots, which is velo yafkinu v'sudarim, which means that you're not allowed to break open an egg on a sudar, on a, if you want to call it, on like a type of a handkerchief or on something which is basically, then it's going to be cooked from the sun. So says the Gemara, Behaditnan, that which we learned in the Mishnah later on, Kuf Memvav Mubet, Notnin Tavshil Letoch Habor B'Shil Sheyesh Shamur, right? That you're allowed to come and place a food inside of a pit that does not have any water in order that it should not get ruined because of the chom, or the etamayim yafim baraim, you're allowed to put good water, all right, a utensil of good water into a place where they have bad water, into a mikveh of bad water, in order to cool it down. So imagine I've got like a utensil and it's got good water inside of it. So I'm going to put it inside bad water, but I'm going to put it inside. Obviously, it's protected. It's not going to mix, but I'm putting it in order to make it cold, right? So it says I'm allowed to put food or drink, right, which is cold in the sun, in order that it should become hot. Lema. So why don't we just say exactly that this Mishnah that is coming and permitting us to cook b'chama in the Shabbat, to cook in the hot water, in the sun, right, on Shabbat, is a Yosei v'lo Rabbanan. It comes according to Shitat of Yosei, and not the rabbis. Okay? Because that's what we're trying to say over here. Here it's written b'furash that you're allowed to put it b'chama in the sun, and it's cooking in the sun, and there's no problem. And we just said by us that you shouldn't put it right in the sudar, right, in order that and it's going to be cooked by the sun, even though it's being heated up by the sudar, not by the sun, and that's what we're actually going to see. So Rav Nachman says, b'chama dechulam lo plig d'share. If you're going to cook directly on the sun, according to everybody, there's no isur. Right? Betoldot ha'ur kulam lo plig, right? There's no isur. It's permitted 100%. So you're allowed to cook in the sun on Shabbat. However, though, betoldot ha'ur, anything that comes from a fire, even if it's not the fire in itself, but it's a derivative of a fire, according to everybody, it's going to be asur. So in the sun, 100% permitted. Anything which comes from a fire is 100% prohibited. So when is the machloket then? Anything which is a derivative of the sun. More savar, the Tanakama holds gazrin and toldot chama to toldot aur. We make a decree, toldot chama, because of toldot aur, which means a derivative of the sun, just like a derivative of the fire. More savar, and Rabbi Yosef holds do gazrinan. So just in order for us to understand what exactly we're talking about, for example, on Shabbat, I could take a pan, right, from my kitchen, break an egg on it, and then take it outside and put it to cook the egg. And the reason why is because that's cooking 100% in the sun. However, though, if I already had my pan outside, and now the pan is boiling hot from the sun, and now I'm going to break open the egg on top of that, that's a sur. Because then I'm cooking with the derivative of the sun, right? The same halacha would apply in the army. If they're going to crack open the egg on top of the Jeep on Shabbat, and all of a sudden it's going to heat up and it's going to cook, right? I wouldn't advise it because it's not always the most clean. But let's say it would be, they just cleaned the Jeep yesterday or whatever it was. So then in such a scenario, what happens is that you're cooking with the derivative of the sun. And therefore it's going to become prohibited. Okay, so that's very, very important just to remember. Now, where else does this play an important role? In the Dud Shemesh. We know famous machlokot, right, that Rav Ovadia Yosef, for example, holds that you're allowed to cook you're allowed to cook. Sorry, you're allowed to use water which was heated up in the dud shemesh on Shabbat. Why? Dud shemesh is basically the sun panels, right? The panels that you have on the roof. And how do you have hot water? The sun comes, it beams on the roof, and then that's it. Then you have hot water. So according to Rabbi Yosef, that's considered shemesh mamash. Sorry, which means that's considered that it was heated up in the sun. It's not considered a derivative of the sun. And therefore, you're allowed to take a shower with that hot water on Shabbat because that's called chama. And chama is actually permitted. Okay, makes sense?
It's permitted to take a shower, but still you cannot take the shower.
Fine, you're right, but you're allowed to use that hot water, meaning that hot water is not considered hot water which was heated up on Shabbat. It's considered hot water which was heated up the permitted way, and therefore there's no problem of using that hot water. You could use that hot water for washing the dishes. You could use that hot water for whatever you want, basically.
Because in Israel, they have the solar panel,
Exactly, that's why, because of the solar panels. Because of those solar panels. So those solar panels is considered shemesh, the chama itself. Right. Other people argue, Rabbi Sira Bashaul and others, they argue, they say, no, those are all considered toldot chama. It's not considered chama, it's considered toldot chama, a derivative of the sun. Because they want to say that it's not the sun directly, it's the sun going down on the glass, on the mirrors, that heats up the water, then the water is heating up all the water in the tank, and then, it continues going. So basically, they want to say it's a derivative of the sun. It's not the sun directly.
Got it.
Okay? Fine.
Okay.
So 2 dots. The 2 dots now says, you're not supposed to do hatmana, which is to insulate the egg, in chol or avat drachim, in the sand, or the avat drachim that was already heated up in the sun. So I cannot go to the beach and put an egg inside the sand, and now it's going to heat up because of the sand, because that's called toldot chama. Okay? So says the Gemara, V'liflog nami Rabbi Yosef beha. Why doesn't Rabbi Yosef also argue here? And he say that this is considered toldot chama. So therefore, it should have been that Rabbi Yosef should have permitted this, because this is toldot chama. According to Rabbi Yosef, what we just mentioned before, the machloka between Tanakama and Rabbi Yosef was Tanakama says we make a gezerah toldot chama to toldot ta'ud, which means a derivative of the sun because of a derivative of the fire. And according to Rabbi Yosef, we don't make such a decree. So here, Rabbi Yosef should also permit it. So answers the Gemara, no. Rabba comes and he says, Rabba Amar, Rabbi Yosef here also agrees that it's going to be asur. Why? He says, Gezerah shema yatmim beremetz. Because it's a gezerah that basically maybe you're going to do atmana in remetz. Remetz is basically efer, ashes which are mixed with coals. Which means if we were going to permit you to do hatmana in sand and in all this dirt, so then we're going to suspect that maybe you're going to start doing hatmana also in a fire, in remetz, and basically coals and ashes. So therefore, that's why he also prohibited it. Rabbi Yosef comes and he says, another reason why Rabbi Yosef is going to prohibit it. It says here, mipneh shemeziz afar mimkomo. Here, you're moving afar from its place. Now, since you're moving afar from its place, it's an isur muktzeh. So because of that, that's why you're not allowed to do such a thing. Okay, so it says over here as follows. It says, "My benayu." So what's the difference between the opinion of Rabba and of Yosef? According to everybody, Rabbi Yosef will still prohibit. The question is why? Whether it's because of a gezerah, maybe you're going to do atmana in a real coals, or a gezerah because you're going to start moving, right, the chol, right, and the dirt and all these things. So he says the difference between them is the afar tichoach. Afar tichoach is basically, according to the reason of Rabba, that gezerah shema yatmim beremetz, maybe you're going to do atmana in coals, is still going to be prohibited over here. But according to the Manda Amar of Rav Yosef, because you're moving dirt from its place, afar tichoach, you're allowed to do it because there's no chashash of moving dirt. Afar tichoach is basically that when you move the dirt, everything just comes back into place. It's called afar tichoach. Let me just see over here. Okay, fine. He wants to say that afar tichoach, there's no problem of choresh. It's not because of anything else. It's because of plowing. Okay, fine. Next, okay? Says the Gemara, Meitvei, so they asked the question now, right, on Rav Yosef from the following Braita. Remember, Rav Yosef was the one that said that the Yisur was because of Shema Yazid Zafar. Now, I thought that at the beginning the Shema Yazid Zafar Mikumo was going to be because of Mukse, and here he's saying it's because of Choresh, which is Mina Torah. Because if not, then it's a Gezerah Ligzerah. Remember that. It means if it was only because of Mukse, which is the Rabbanan, so I'm not going to make a Gezerah, you're not allowed to do a Tmana of an egg in the dirt. Maybe you're going to move the dirt, and then if you do move the dirt, that in itself anyway is the Rabbanan. Right? So it's a Gezerah Ligzerah. Here, it's because of Choresh, which is the right of plowing, which means I'm making like a hole in the ground. Now, by Afar Tichuach, there's no making a hole in the ground, there's no Choresh, but the second that I move it, everything else just caves in. So there's no hole that I'm making. Okay? So says the Gemara as follows. Today we're going to ask the following question. Rabban Shimon Gamliel comes and he says, Megalgelim beitza al gabe gag roteach, right? Ve'em megalgelim beitza al gabe sid roteach. So you're allowed to come and put the egg on top of the roof, which is boiling hot, okay, in order that it should become roasted. But you're not allowed to do that because of the shemesh, because of the sun. And here, remember, it's toldot of the sun, because the roof was heated up by the sun, and now the roof is heating up the egg. But I cannot do it on top of lime, which is boiling hot, which is toldot ta'ur, which basically means that I heat it up in a pot, and now I want to cook with this lime. Okay, it's good according to the Mandamar that we're going to make a decree that maybe I'm going to come and I'm going to do hatmana in coals. Lekar Migzar was over here. There's no gizera. What? Because I'm putting something on the roof, I'm going to start thinking, 1 second, it's permitted me to do hatmana, to do insulation inside of coals. It has nothing to do with one another. So I don't make this gizera. But according to the Mandamar, that according to Rav Yosef, that's what he wanted to say, in Shitat Rav Yosef, right? That if right now, why is it going to become over here in this case that Rashbag comes and he says, Megalgilim beitzal gabe gag, but not on the seed? He says, why? He says, what's the reasoning? You should still make a decree that you're not allowed to roast an egg on the roof, because maybe you're going to move the afar, which is on the roof, right? And therefore it's a question against Rav Yosef. So the truth is, the answer is very simple answer. Stam gag le be'afar. There's no dirt on the roofs. Meaning the majority of roofs, right, do not have dirt. Now remember, we're not even talking about our roofs that are the inclined roofs that are on the slope. So we're talking about even the flat roofs, like you have in Israel or other places as well. The majority of places do not have earth. So therefore, since it doesn't have earth, we're not going to make such a decree. Okay, so another question now on Rav Yosef. Again, we're trying to find out what is the real reason behind why Rabbi Yosef would still agree over here that it is prohibited if he usually permits toldot chama. Okay, so Tashima, another proof. So if you remember, there was a story of Anshet Tveria where they brought a silon, which was a cold water pipe, into an amah of chamim, of hot water from Chamet Tveria. So says the Gemara, Bishlam Mandamar, it's good according to the Mandamar, that he says Gizera Shem Yatmim Beremetz, that he says there's going to be a Gizera, maybe I'm going to do a Tmana in coals, Hainu de Damil Atmana, because then that is like Atmana. Meaning, just like over there, I put the cold water pipe through the hot waters of Tveria, so it's like I'm insulating, I'm like doing Hatmana, so then it's compared to Atmana. So to here, it's like compared to Atmana. But according to the Mandamar of Yosef, that he says that you're not allowed to do the egg and all those things in chol because of because I'm moving the afar from its place, which means I'm doing choresh. Michael Mimmer, what does that have to do with now the Anshet Tveria? What does that have to do with Anshet Tveria? That it looks like I'm doing this? It does nothing to do with one another. It looks completely different. So says the Gemara, Misavrat Masechet Tveria Seifakai. Do you think that the story in our Mishnah of Masechet Tveria was going back on the last halacha that had to do with Hatmana of the egg in chol or avat drachim? And nothing to do with it. It had to do with Reishaka, on the beginning part of the Mishnah, where it said, Lo yafkenu besudarim, you're not allowed to break an egg on the sudar, on this like a handkerchief or on this scarf. He says, Rabbi Yosef mati, and Rabbi Yosef permits, right? And then it says that the story of Anshet Tveria, which was coming through Tanakama, was a re'ayah to their shita that it's prohibited to cook with toldat chama. So that's what the rabbis told Rabbi Yosef. There was a story of Anshet Tveria Toldot Chamahu. The waters of Tveria are also heated up by the sun. So if the waters of Tveria are also heated up by the sun, and still it's going to become prohibited to cook through those waters, so to the Vasir Rabbanan, the rabbi said it's prohibited. So Amalehu, so they're going to answer, it's not true. Ha'u toldot ta'uru. The waters, the hot waters, the hot baths of Tveria is not being cooked from the sun, it's being cooked by the fire. Which fire? It goes through the entrance of Geinam. Meaning, Chamet Tveria, they pass through the entrance of Geinam, of hell. And in the hell, there's a lot of hot fires over there. So those hot fires are actually heating up the waters of Chamet Tveria, and therefore it has nothing to do with Toldot Chama. Really, it's Toldat Ta'ur. Okay? Fine. Amar Rav Chasta, says Rav Chasta, Lametet Amubet. Ima'aseh she'asu anshe Tveria, from the story that they did in Anshe Tveria, the Asur le'Rabbanan, and the rabbis prohibited it. It says, "Batla hatmana b'davar mosif hevel, v'afilu mibod yom." It comes out that you're not allowed to do hatmana with something which adds heat, and even if you did it from Erev Shabbat, it's still going to become prohibited. Right? Why? Because it comes out that that's what they actually did. This is actually adding heat. So since it's adding heat, right? So therefore, it's going to become prohibited. Hold on 1 second. Jackie Huerta just got locked out. I have to give him the code. 1 second. Okay. Amar Ula. So Ula comes and he says as follows. Halakha ke anshe Tveria. The halakha is like anshe Tveria, and not like the Chachamim that they prohibited them to do that. Amar le Rav Nachman. So Rav Nachman comes and he says, Kvar tavinu anshe Tveria lesinrai. What are you talking about? The people of Tveria already came and they broke their tzinorot. They broke their pipes. So therefore, because they themselves, they retracted and they agreed to the Chachamim. So
but Anshe Tveria, they have it natural hot water.
Yes, no, they have a natural hot water, but what they were trying to do was they were trying to take their pipes, take it through the Chamet Tveria, and then bring it back to their houses or their places in order to use it.
Oh.
That's what they were trying to do. Now, by doing it that way, right, because they weren't able to actually use the Chamet Tveria themselves, so what they were doing, they were trying to heat up water and use the Chamet Tveria as their heat source. So he says at the beginning they wanted to say that it was permitted, and comes Rav Nachman, he says, what are you talking about? They already broke their pipes, so therefore they actually agree that it's prohibited to do such a thing.
To heat themselves or to heat the food, to do the food?
You're asking why did they actually have the waters of the 1 second.
Yeah.
It just says in the Mishnah, it just said that they should have hot water. Let me see here, 39.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to go to the Bet HaMechatz. He used to go to the bathhouse.
Yes.
So they wanted to come and they wanted to do this on Erev Shabbat, even though the water is coming through Shabbat itself and it's getting heated up, but they're allowed to do it from before Shabbat and it's going to finish on Shabbat. And that's what they wanted to do it. So it says here that the Tosfot and the Ran, they argue on this and they hold that Anshe Tveria would never take showers in actual hot waters, the hot springs of Tveria itself, because it has a bad smell.
Yes.
So therefore, they purposely did it this way in order that it wouldn't get the bad smell, but it would take the water, get heated up, come out, and then they would take a shower in that water. Okay?
Okay.
They would do. Fine. 2 dots. So says the Gemara, Masechet Shabbat Daf. My rechitza. What type of rechitza were the Chachamim talking about? What type of washing are they? If you're going to tell me that they were washing themselves with hot water, the entire body, so he says, and it's only chamin shucham uchamin udasurin. He says what? Only hot water which was heated up on Shabbat is going to be asur. Hachamin shucham udasham mutarin. But if it was heated up on Erev Shabbat, it's going to be permitted. But Tanya, we already learned in a Braita. The Braita says chamin shucham Erev Shabbat. Even if you're going to tell me that it was heated up on Erev Shabbat, still, it's only going to be permitted on Shabbat to wash your hands, face, and feet, but not your entire body. So therefore, here, we cannot be talking about that you heated up the water and now you wanted to take a true shower, because it doesn't make sense. Ella panav yadav raglav, but rather you're right, it has to be panav yadav raglav, your hands, face, and feet. So let's see the seifa then. B'yom tov, right? If it was on Yom Tov, kechamin shucham b'yom tov, it's like hot water that was heated up on Yom Tov. So you're not allowed to do rechitza, but you are allowed to drink it. Okay? So now, if we're talking about rechitza panav yadav raglav, here it's saying it's a sur if it was heated up on Yom Tov. Now, the Gemara says, why? Leima tznan stama kid Bet Shammai, are we holding like Bet Shammai? The tznan was, we learned in the Mishnah and Beitzah, Bet Shammai says, lo yachem adam chamin leraglav. A person is not allowed to heat up hot water for your feet on Yom Tov, whether it's your hands, face, or feet. Unless it's fitting to drink. And Bet Hillel says you're allowed to. So it comes out that if you're telling me that we're talking about panav yadav raglav, we have a question there. What about Yom Tov? Yom Tov, you are allowed to. We paskin like Bet Hillel, not like Bet Shammai. You're allowed to heat up water for your hands, face, and feet. What's the Yisur? So answers the Gemara, Amar Avika bar Chananya, says Avika bar Chananya, we're talking about using it for your entire body. The high Tana with the Tanya, and this Tana is going like the Braita, that it says, Lo yishtatef adam kol gufo b'mechamim tzonen. According to Rabbi Meir, you're not allowed to wash your entire body on Shabbat, whether in hot water or even cold water. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Shimon says, you're allowed to with hot water, right, that was heated up on Erev Shabbat, and kol sheken on cold water, you're allowed to. And Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says, Bechamin asur, betzonen mutar. On hot water, you're not allowed to, even if it was heated up on Erev Shabbat, but in cold water, you are allowed to. So it comes out that our Mishnah, which is permitting us to basically to take a shower, right, with water which was from Erev Shabbat, is going like Rabbi Shimon. Okay? So Amar Rav Chasta, says Rav Chasta, the machloket between these Tanaim of taking a shower with hot water that was heated up from Erev Shabbat is only talking about Bekli, if it's in a utensil. Aval Bekarka, but if it's going to be in the ground, meaning in an ambatya, like in a bathtub, Divrei Akol Mutar, according to everybody, you're allowed to. So says the Gemara, 1 second, how could that be? You're going to tell me right now that I could fill up a bathtub on Erev Shabbat with hot water, and then it comes Shabbat and I could just take a dip? How could that be? Says the story of Anshe Tveria was in the Karka. Right? It was a silon, it was like a pipe going in the ground and then coming up into a bathhouse. And still Asur Rabbanan, the rabbi still prohibited it. So says the Gemara, no, you're right. It had to be the exact opposite. The machloket between them is in the karka, in the ground. And therefore it's going to be prohibited even if it's going to be in a bathtub. But if it's going to be a utensil, according to everybody, right, is going to be asur. So the machloket itself is going to be in the karka, in the bathtub. Okay? And obviously then it will come out that it's going to be asur. So Amar B'charam Yochanan v'lechazek Rabbi Yehuda, that basically you're not allowed to wash yourself with any hot water whatsoever, even if it was heated up on Erev Shabbat, but cold water is permitted. And that's how we paskin also l'chal maseh. You're allowed to take a cold water shower, a shower of cold water in Shabbat, but not of hot water whatsoever. Okay? So now says the Gemara, Amar le Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, Befirush shmiya lecha or miklal shmiya lecha? So he says, was this said mefurash in the words of Rabbi Yochanan? Or maybe you learned it from somewhere else. Okay, because this is Rav Yosef coming and telling to Rabbi Bar Chana. Because Rabbi Bar Chana said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, the halacha zek Rabbi Yehuda. So he says, what? Did Rabbi Yochanan say that mefurash the halacha zek Rabbi Yochanan? Or did he say he inferred it from somewhere else? So says the Gemara, my klala, what would you infer it from? Amar Rabbi Tanchum Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Yanai Rabbi. Says Rabbi Tanchum in the name of Yochanan Rabbi Yanai, in the name of Rabbi. Kol makom shata motze shnayim chalukim ve'echad machriya. anytime that you see two Tanaim that are arguing, and the third Tana is Machria Benehem, right? Which means that he's like a compromise in between them, or not a compromise, but he's like the last Machria afterwards. Okay, so he says, Halacha Kedivya Machria. So then the Halacha is like the Machria, Chutz Mikule Matliniot, except for Kule Matliniot. Kule Matliniot is the Machloket Tanaim to do with Tum'ah, right? Which is Kule Matliniot, which are Matliotim Yuchadol L'Tashvish Kalim, for things which are Zuyim. Okay? How does he translate Matlaniyot there? We're talking about like this.
I don't see.
It's like not handkerchiefs, but it's like something like that, no? Like something bazui. It's the second last line, or third last line. Sorry, third last line on the daf. Lametet Mubet. No, Kule Matlaniyot.
No, I don't find.
Look at the last Lametet Mubet 39b, the last page of 39b.
39b. No, I don't find. I don't see.
Binyamin, you have it there in English?
I don't have it, no.
No? Okay. Usually Matlaniyot, they translate it as, how do you call it? Like, like these handkerchiefs, or like, like pañuelos, like, like all these, like very, cheap things. That's what it says usually. She'af al pi Rabbi Eliezer machmir Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Eliezer was machmir and Rabbi Yeshua was mekel, Rabbi Akiva was machria over there. So en halacha k'divrei machria, but over there the halacha is not like the machria for two reasons. One of them because Rabbi Akiva was a talmid of Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer. So since he was a student cannot make a decision for his rabbis. Meaning, even though here you have a machloke between two different rabbis, if a third rabbi would come and he would make and render a decision based upon what they just did, so then it makes sense. But over here, though, it doesn't work out because Rabbi Akiva was a student. Ve'orim, furthermore, right? Daf Mem Amud Aleph, Rabbi Akiva like Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Akiva retracted to Rabbi Yeshua, which means since he retracted, as is brought out in Kaftet Amubet, so therefore, obviously, it cannot be that the halacha is like Kedivya Mechria. So therefore, is it that because there's two opinions by us, here, remember, what do we have? We had a machloket. We had a machloket between Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir came, and he said that a person is not allowed to take a shower at all, whether in hot water or cold water. Rabbi Shimon permitted completely. So you had two different extremes. Okay, and then you had Rabbi Yehuda that he made a compromise. Said hot water, never. Cold water, permitted. So if you're going to tell me now that the halacha is like Divrei Machria, and you wanted to bring a proof from this case, it's not true. Because we don't paskin like Rabbi Akiva. Okay? So therefore, obviously, you can't tell me that. So we are going to have to try to find out another general rule. Okay, with this, we finished Daf Lametet. Okay, 1 minute.